What have you made of today? Often these speeches are sort of unity. Donald Trump doesn't go by the normal rules, though, does he?
No, he certainly doesn't, Tom. And I was there for the first inauguration in 2016 and the second inauguration in 2020. All three have been different. But there's no doubt this has been a reflection of the new Donald Trump. It's disruptive. He doesn't stick with convention under any circumstances. There's a whole new influx of people from all across America, many of them disappointed, but frankly, he knows how to communicate and he is unfiltered. There's no handbrake on Donald Trump this time around, and that's been made very clear by the way he has delivered his speeches and the content of his speeches. So it's been a very interesting few days, and it'll be a crazy interesting 4 years.
There was a sense last time he was almost surprised. He won't have that surprise. He knows how the levers work. And how much is the comeback a factor of Donald Trump? You know, I'm talking the fact that he was ostracised after January 6th. The midterms weren't that good for him. And then he nearly died. He was shot by a would-be assassin. Does that go to his psyche? Is he different as well as a man this time?
Absolutely. And the fact that he referred to the would-be assassin's bullet in his inauguration speech says everything. I think and I'm told by people that are close to him that it did have an impact on him, as you'd expect, but he really does feel he's on a mission given by God, and therefore there's no filter. There's no handbrake either. I mean, normally presidents would think about the next election, or they'd be thinking about the legal ramifications of their decisions or the financial implications for them. He hasn't got any of those constraints. You know, he's beaten the legal system, he's beaten the political system, and he hasn't got to worry about money, and he's not going to be doing this again at his age. So this is it. He's determined to deliver on his agenda.
What about I know you're in the advice game, any advice for Penny Wong, our Foreign Minister? She's here, and Kevin Rudd, because there is a specific way, isn't there, to deal with Donald Trump and his administration, albeit his team's different this time.
It is a different team, but it's very transactional. And Donald Trump is very transactional. He doesn't mind confrontation, even with friends and allies, but you've got to have something that is going to win him over. The fact is, Australia is just not high up his priority list.
The bad priority list you're talking about?
Yeah, the bad priority list. I mean, he's got a soft spot for Australia. There's no doubt about that. But he, you know, in terms of the priorities he's dealing with, he is very much focused on domestic issues here in the United States.
Yeah.
And whilst things like tariffs and so on might cause us to sweat a bit in Australia, the fact is it's going to be the second round impact of his decisions here in the US that's going to have the greatest impact in Australia. So Donald Trump says he's pulling out of Paris. That has an impact on Australia. He says that he's going to cut taxes. That has an impact on Australian business. Cutting regulation flows through as well. When he says he's going to move away from DEI and focus on other things, that has an impact in Australia as well. So, frankly, I think he's going to have more impact on the rest of the world by what he does here in America than what he does directly in other countries.
I guess last time he was cutting company tax, we did as well, so we saw that flow.
Well, that's right, and it flows through. And cutting all this ridiculous regulation on business. I mean, regulation around the world, and particularly in our country, is killing business.
Is the other difference this time, Trump culture's almost gone a bit more mainstream? I mean, last time he was, you know, he couldn't get pop stars to appear at his events. MAGA hats was sort of, you know, worn in the South or furtively. It seems like it's gone more mainstream. Even a weird example of after January 6, Coca-Cola denounced him. Now they've given him a special Coca-Cola can.
I know.
It's like he's more acceptable now in the mainstream.
Well, there's a lot of sycophants here in this town over the last few days. And,
you're kidding me.
You know, it's there's a lot of people that were anti-Trump that are very pro-Trump today.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that Donald Trump is in tune with the mainstream of America. Whether we like it or not as outsiders, he does reflect where America wants to go.
You've got to look at him and take him seriously, even if you don't like him.
Oh, for sure you do, because, you know, the issues that he's talking about, even on some of the polls that, you know, you see, most Americans want to deport criminals that have come illegally into the country. Now, Obama deported over 1 million people. Joe Biden deported nearly 1 million people, 250,000 last year. So when Donald Trump starts deporting people, that's what Democrats did as well. And I think a lot of Democrats, their resistance movement of the Democrats has come to an end. Last time there was a big resistance. This time the Democrats are muted.
It's almost despondent, isn't it? Even with the numbers of protests. The other element is, last time we kept saying unprecedented. What about Joe Biden's pardon?
Yeah.
And that last minute, all his family members, that feels unprecedented and almost a new level of pardoning that might even face legal challenges and no doubt will be fierce debate.
Well, precedents don't matter in politics anywhere in the world. That's all gone. And so every leader in the world is responding to community opinion. In the case of Joe Biden, I thought it was short on courage to pardon his family 5 minutes before Donald Trump was sworn in. I mean, he should have done it when he did the others. If he was going to do it, have the courage to do it and then defend it. But instead, he wasn't there to defend what his final actions were. And I think that reflects poorly on his legacy. And some of the senior Democrats I've spoken to are pretty despondent about it as well.
That one's going to percolate. Finally, one of the big changes the last few months has been Elon Musk. Will the bromance last, do you think?
Well, it seems as though there's a lot of bromance going around. I mean, not just the tech heads, but there are a few other gazillionaires that suddenly appeared as Donald Trump's best mates. And it just shows you that, it's a transactional relationship. Elon Musk, is energised. He's very supportive of Donald Trump. But sooner or later, Donald Trump doesn't tolerate anyone eclipsing his son. So, it'll work for a while. In the interim, when Elon Musk has his fights with Steve Bannon and a few others, Donald Trump likes that. He likes
competitive tension.
Correct,
he?
He does. He really does, and again reinforces that he's the final decision maker.
Steve Bannon says he'll get him out. So one of them, I sense one of them will still be there, and one of them won't be in a few months.
Well, you feel as though if Elon Musk steps down, then Jeff Bezos will come in, and then Zuckerberg will come in. I mean, there was a conga line today, and it just reflects the fact that, and it's kind of interesting because I feel as though they've taken a card out of your boss, Rupert Murdoch. These guys are playing a very clever political card, and Rupert, to his great credit, was right on top of politics and always right in the epicenter of it. Along come these guys that are running social media and running communications facilities, and they're playing that game now.
I guess they caused him trouble last time, and now they're in the tent. Joe Hockey, really appreciate your time on this rather brisk Washington day.
It was a brisk.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Pete, back to you from the Washington DC rooftop. Over
Good on you, Tom Connell.
as we continue to distill all the things that have happened on a busy day.
Appreciate that, Tom. Thank you.